Hi, this is Manny Baines, organizer, host of the World Healing Summit. I did this summit for you to provide you with amazing wisdom and knowledge from some of the world's top practitioners in the areas of holistic health. And I am here today with somebody who is an absolute legend in the industry. He is one of the world's leading experts in holistic health. I'm about to bring him on right now, and you're going to be blessed to hear him at the summit. He is passionate about holistic health. He spent many, many decades in this industry, and it is an honor and pleasure to introduce Dr. Bob. Bob, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Well, my gosh, thank you for the invite. What an honor to be part of this team. And what a mission, healing the entire world. And, some could argue that the world has always needed healing, but maybe now more than ever. We're fractured as a society. Too many of us are scattered. Let's bring it together under an umbrella of making the world better, starting with making each individual better.
Exactly. And Dr. Bob is going to be one of the speakers at the World Healing Summit, and he's going to share his knowledge and wisdom with you. And he has such an amazing, vast wheelhouse of knowledge. When I first heard him speak when he came up to Toronto area, and what the concepts he was speaking about were so amazing because as we know, we're living in a system. The mainstream system is all about reaction, sick care. Let's react when somebody gets sick or has the disease. But what Dr. Bob and the other practitioners are saying is that why wait to be sick? Why not keep healthy? Why not be healthy? Why not prevent yourself from getting the disease in the first place? So, Dr. Bob, introduce yourself. Tell the audience a bit about yourself and what they can expect from you at the summit.
Sure. So I'm a chiropractor, kinesiologist, clinical nutritionist, acupuncturist, actually certified in acupuncture, not technically a acupuncturist, but been doing all of that for about 3.5 decades. My patient base ranges from elite professional athletes, Hall of Famers, and the critically ill that really have not been given any hope by the medical system, and everything in between. And the great news is we've had success in every patient category by simply getting down to basics. I don't know how, but somehow the world has lost its way. They don't build a foundation of health. And then when everything crumbles, instead of fixing it, they intoxicate it just to cover up the symptoms. And we're now really probably more aware than ever that in many cases is doing more harm than good. So why not dial it back? Why not get back to basics? Because if you master the basics, as one of my Hall of Famers said, you'll seldom need anything else.
Wow. And so Dr. Bob is bringing his plethora of wisdom and knowledge at the Holistic Healing Summit. How did you get into this area of holistic health? You started in chiropractor and kind of mainstream. How did you then lead into the holistic health space? I'm curious to know.
Well, actually, I started as an engineer, and that's my first degree. And engineering taught me to think and taught me how to get down to first principles, which made natural medicine really resonate. But it was a near death experience. I was playing football when I was in college. Now, and I wasn't playing on a college team, I was playing in a city league. I got hurt. I did what I knew to do. I went to the medical doctor. He gave me muscle relaxers, painkillers, put my neck in a brace, my arm in a sling, and said, I'll come back in a couple of weeks. Well, I took the drugs because I was in a lot of pain. I was in college. I went out on a date, had one drink because I'm not a drinker, fell asleep behind the wheel of my car at 55 miles an hour. The, my date grabbed the wheel, shook me, pulled over, and looked at me and said, "What the heck happened?" I said, "I think I passed out." She said, "No, I know you passed out. I'm driving home." I said, "Okay." So I get home. I'm standing in my kitchen. I pick up the bottle of pills. My bad. I didn't read them before. Said, "Don't mix with alcohol. Don't operate heavy machinery. May cause drowsiness." Yeah, not only may cause it, it did, and it nearly killed me. I flushed the pills down the toilet. I was a gym rat back then, went to the gym. The owner of the gym looked at me and says, "Wow, you look like you've been hit by a truck." I said, "Yeah, that's about how I feel." He said, "Well, you need a good chiropractor." Manny, I didn't even know what a chiropractor was. So I asked him, "What's a chiropractor?" He says, "Well, it's someone that can probably help your neck pretty fast." I said, "Okay, I'll go." Well, the doctor I saw, one was a great human, a great chiropractor, cared about me, and really gave me a complete and total paradigm shift. One visit, he said, "Look, we know that the power that made the body heals the body. And if we can align the body and eliminate interference, miracles can happen." And I literally felt like that was a miracle. That was the pivotal point in my life where I said, hey, I'd like to help others in this way. And that's, my gosh, 4 decades later since that injury, and loving it every minute of it.
Yeah, it's such an amazing story. Thank you for sharing. I think, from what I'm hearing, your short story is like one of many, people have had, experience in the mainstream. They've had a, ailment, illness, things like that. They go to the mainstream, which, provides a band-aid solution, something like a pill or a drug, which is good temporarily, but then you're not getting to the root cause. And like you said, right, the body has the innate ability to heal itself given the right conditions and circumstances. And so if the body can heal itself, then we just need to put it in the right environment, give it the right things, and then kind of let nature do the work. And once I did the film and I found out about this, I'm like, this is amazing. Everybody needs to just know about this because it's just going to make you an optimal human being. And it actually puts you in the driver's seat, which I think is empowering. And sometimes we have to take charge of our own health. It's, you see the doctor, he helps you when you're sick, you chiropractor, everything, but what do you do when you're outside of that, right? What are you doing the 90% of the time when you're not in the medical space? So I think it's lifestyle, it's all these amazing things. And I just feel like the world needs this because how many people right now, I think there's a statistic where about 80% of the people are suffering with some chronic illness, pain, disease, something like that. And so what if you can, and Dr. Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, if anything that you have with the right conditions and right circumstances can be treated, right? And can be overcome. Is that correct?
Well, that's been my experience. So we've seen the unbeatable be beaten, even stage 4 metastatic pancreatic cancer, the worst of the worst. I've got a patient that did it all natural 35 years ago and is still alive to tell the story. Now, there's a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross to get to that level. It takes total commitment. And hey, guess what? I'm a big fan of prayer. Prayer never hurts. I believe in miracles. And one of my favorite quotes is if you don't believe in miracles, you've obviously forgotten that you are one.
I love that quote. We are all walking miracles, right? But yeah, it's true. Having that mindset, that belief that I can get better, that I can heal. And, the cells are listening, right? Like our body, it listens to us. So we have to be careful. We have to treat it good. We have to be careful what we eat, drink, and think because the body's always listening. So, and when you spoke in Canada, you just really brought the thunder down and really showed people kind of what's getting in the way of them, living optimally. And I feel like this is it, right? We know, unfortunately, the mainstream, the conventional diet, it's not there to help us. Unfortunately, all the food is devoid of nutrition, our soil, and so Dr. Bob is going to share with you his story and his way that he's, been able to help himself and help his patients. He's just so passionate about holistic health. Wow, 4 decades. And, Dr. Bob, if you give, what's like a number one or a common advice that you give to your patient? You have your own practice. And what's a number one advice that you give to your patients or that you tell them, when you see them on?
Well, I'm going to blend in a story with it. So I was at a conference. I was one of the lecturers, and the keynote speaker was an 8-time world champion. And this guy just exuded energy. And someone asked him from the audience, how in the world do you have so much energy? And I loved his answer. The only way you have energy is to earn energy. Well, let's expand that into health. The only way to have health is to earn health. And I call them the Magnificent Seven. You've got to eat right, drink right, think right, move right, sleep right, poop right, talk right every single day. And here's the magic. Most of us are not doing it even close to right. Even the best of the best can get a little bit better. And what I want to do is bring it in a way that I don't care where you are in terms of knowledge, I don't care where you are in terms of health, we can take your game to the next level in a way that we want you to enjoy. One of my great mentors said decades ago, sustainable changes must be pleasurable. If it's a chore to be healthy, you're not going to do it. But what if we made it easy? What if we made it delicious? What if we made it fun? And that's the goal. We want to do that for everybody. And you know what? Everybody that you've put together is on the same mindset. They know how to make it fun, they know how to make it effective, and they know how to make it easy so everybody can walk away better for the information and much better just applying a few of the dozens of principles that they're going to learn.
That's it. It's making those small tweaks every day to get you better. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where else you're going to be able to get Dr. Bob along with other world health practitioners to come in to speak on, helping you, live healthier and more vital. These practitioners are just so amazing. They have been there, they're on the ground helping people every day. And I just wanted to bring them together to give you powerful wisdom on how you can transform your health. I think that health, Dr. Bob, is a continuum. We're never really there. I think we're always trying to tweak and put ourselves on a continuum, correct?
The best can get better. But I love how you
Yeah.
introduced that. The people that are doing there are not practicing in theory. They're not
Yeah.
academic. They're not unhealthy. They're healthy. They're living it. They're applying it. They're sharing it. And they're compounding their wisdom over decades. So that might be a fun stat. I don't know how many decades of practical, effective wisdom you're bringing together, but it's nearly unmatched.
It's nearly unmatched. And we love and when I did the film, something I realized is that like, okay, the doctors are there, they're there to help you, but they're generalists. They're caught in a treadmill themselves. You only have what, 5 or 10 minutes with your doctor if you're lucky. And
Yep.
in that 5 or 10 minutes, he's got to diagnose all your stuff. He's not even looking at what you do holistically. He's not looking at your diet, what you eat, what you sleep. You're coming with problems, and he's basically saying, "Oh, here's a pill for that." Okay, I get it. That might be necessary, but why do that when you haven't even looked at all of these other lifestyle things, right?
Well, there's so many horrible stories that we can tell about doctors, one, not paying attention, and two, having to operate in a system where they may have to maybe fudge the data a little bit to get paid. For instance, I had a patient in today, she has a thyroid nodule. What diagnosis did the doctor give her? Thyroid cancer without a follow-up test. Now, it turned out to not be, but by diagnosing thyroid cancer, he justified tons of spending, tons of expense, tons of invasive procedure. And for the most part, with a simple test, not anything that invasive, that scary, that life threatening, they could have gotten the data they needed to know. Guess what? This is benign, not malignant, not cancer. But guess what? This patient was denied life insurance because they read in the medical records that she has thyroid cancer. Sorry, we're not going to insure you. And it was a blatant misrepresentation. Could have said, hey, order this test to rule out thyroid cancer. Diagnosis was thyroid cancer.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous. It's a broken
It,
system.
it really is. And you think you're going to the doctor to get healthy. That's the thing. You actually think you're gonna get help, and sometimes it can be the opposite. But yeah, that's something else I learned from Cure too, is that these doctors don't actually make money unless they prescribe drugs and surgery. Otherwise, you only make between 150 to $300 per consultation. So I'm like, how are these doctors making their money? They have to prescribe, and whose best interest is that in? It's theirs, not yours. So all of these
Yeah.
things, and my mind was just blown on how the system is ran. But I mean, again, it comes down to education, right, guys? The more educated you are, the more informed you are, the more now that you're able to put yourself on the top and be in the driver's seat rather than be a victim of the system. Time to be a victor. And that's what these practitioners are teaching you to do. They're teaching you how to be your own wellness practitioner. They're teaching you how to implement your own methods, and then with their guidance, their wisdom, you're going to get absolute amazing value. Again, Dr. Bob's going to be sharing his wisdom. He's going to be offering a little bit of a Q&A after. So, Dr. Bob, I'm so excited that you're on at this for the summit. They're going to get such amazing, knowledge and wisdom from you. And I'm so excited to have you on the summit. Any last words before we finish off? Why do you think people should attend this summit on holistic health and world healing?
Well, it's a guarantee. You listen to one speaker, you're going to get significantly better. You listen to two, way, way, way better. If you plug into the whole thing, just by the energy that you're going to experience and the social proof, which is indisputable, you're going to be inspired to take the next step and the next step and the next step. And you might be crawling now, but soon we're going to have you flying. Just apply what we're sharing.
There you go. Thank you so much. And again, this World Healing Summit is for you, bringing together the world's top holistic practitioners that are on the ground every day, helping patients just like you every day get better and better and healthier and healthier. And I wanted to bring them to you in a powerful, dazzling 3-day summit where you get to learn secrets and wisdom on how to transform your health holistically. We have Dr. Bob, we have people and nutritionists, we have other functional medicine practitioners, energy healers, people from various aspects. But this is all for you because we want you to heal. We want you to be healthy, strong, and get the wisdom you need to succeed. So I will see you, Dr. Bob, at the summit, May 22nd. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm honored for the people that get to hear you speak because I've heard him speak. And ladies and gentlemen, he is just amazing. He's not just dazzling and charismatic speaker, but he comes with real hard facts, knowledge, and wisdom that is going to just blow you away. I know when you were in Toronto, you had the whole stage floored. So excited to have you speak. I'll see you at the summit, Dr. Bob. And any last words before we finish off today?
Well, I always sign off with these words. I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, absolutely knowing that we can all be happy, healthy, and successful. And the summit is going to take up every aspect of your game if you let it.
Perfect. Thanks. I'll see you at the summit. Guys, make sure you join www.worldholistichealingsummit.com. It's completely free. Dr. Bob, I'll see you at the summit and have a good day, everyone.
You're a master, Manny.
Well, one sec. I just got to stop this here. How do we stop it? There we go.